Welcome to today's Build a Product Catalog. Today we are finally getting back to our WordPress Catalog plugin. We are going to look at customizing the plugin and actually applying some of the techniques we've learned over the last few presentations. For example, we're going to switch from the internal WordPress database we added and actually make it into a plugin that communicates with our web service that we did last time. So what have we covered so far? Well, this has been a long-going presentation. We've been talking about product catalogs, the use case of a product catalog, defining the catalog, getting into the different parts of the catalogs, like products, vendors, things of that nature, how to break it down based on what you're looking for. Looking at the different types of data files, JSON, text, CSV files, and then databases, looking at building databases, relationships, tables, and so forth. And then we've also talked about building different types of applications for a product catalog. We've looked at the standalone. We looked at the model view controller. We built the WordPress plugin. We also built a mobile app and web services. We've also connected our web services to our mobile app. And today we're going to continue that trend and actually plug our web services into our WordPress towards the end of this presentation. We've also looked at using Selenium to test our applications. Today we're going to be looking at the second part and wrapping up pretty much the WordPress portion of this product catalog. We're going to look at using shortcodes to insert our products into our pages and posts. We're also going to be looking at CSS to change the look and feel of our products. And we're also going to point our plugin to use the web services instead of the local WordPress database. Before we get into that though, so shortcodes were introduced in WordPress back in version 2.5. and help the developers create special kinds of content. For example, you can create forums, generate contents like our products, and so forth, that users can attach to certain pages by adding the corresponding shortcodes or these little brackets here with an ID within the bracket. I'll show you a link to where you can get more information on the shortcodes in a minute. Secondly, CSS, or cascading style sheets, describes how the HTML elements are to be displayed on our screen, paper, or other media. So the CSS is going to be how we're going to control the look and feel of our shortcodes as they get displayed on the pages and posts that we inject them into. Again, I'll also show you the link to that in just a moment. So let's get out of this little presentation piece here and let's go look at the actual code. So let's see, pull this guy over. So here at codex.wordpress.org/shortcode gives you kind of the brief discussion and how to use shortcodes within WordPress. So essentially a shortcode is just a little plugin tag that you have here, which signifies by the open and close solid bracket and some ID name. Shortcodes can also have attributes. So you can have ID, you could have like height, width, if you want to pass in control elements to your CSS to control how things get displayed within that particular shortcode. Other things, you have escape shortcodes. You can do shortcodes in widgets, which we'll talk about that in just a minute, which a widget is also a plugin. And then if you want to learn more about CSS and all the other things you can do with CSS, you can go over to www.w3schools.com/CSSREF. This is a great site. They pretty much have all the documentation and quick references and examples on using custom style sheets. So with that being said, let's go look at our product catalog plugin. So this is our old example that we used way back in the day, where we built a product catalog plugin that had a database within WordPress that we could go in and update and view products. So if I click the actual plugin, here's a list of all the existing products that are within the existing database within WordPress. I can add new ones by coming in here and say, hey, let's add a scarf. Let's see, Tom Baker scarf, Doctor Who scarf. We'll charge 20 bucks for this. And we have 10 of them. And then we save, back to our product list, and there's our scarf at the bottom. We can update the information or we can delete it. So if I wanted to delete the new one I just added, that's product ID 31. You can come in here, hit 31 and delete. And it's gone. And this was just a crude example we put together on building a product catalog plugin. But today we're going to expand on this. We're going to make it nice, user-friendly. But before we get too far into that, let me show you how to just quickly reuse one of the IDs we already have here. Here's my browser. So here is the source code. Maximize this. In our product catalog, we have our product catalog plugin. So just a quick recap. So we use the JAL install function here to create our database within WordPress. And then we have our install data, so that we just ran through a loop and installed 10 records at the top of our database once the database is installed. Once the plugin's there, everything's in the database. This preloaded information stays put. However, if you uninstall and reinstall the plugin, it will drop and rebuild the database, and you're essentially going to start over with a blank database, which is not really something you want to do, which is why we're going to look at using web services a little bit later. We also added an action to the admin menu. The admin menu in WordPress is this section over here. So we say, hey, let's add a new product catalog setup. So we're going to create an add menu page for product catalog plugin, and we're going to add some subpages to that, which we saw over here. So you have product catalog, the main plugin page, add and update. And then the other piece to that, so product catalog page, so product catalog plugin, so there's your main menu title. And then we had the product catalog list, which is the initial list that we saw here. And some HTML, no real styles at this point. We're just throwing a table together to display our information. We use the WPDB WordPress database plugin to let us quickly reference our database, do queries, updates, and so forth. So we have our table name, define it as product, and then we have our results where we get all the results from the table. Next method was add, where we do a post to update or to insert our record into the database table, or display the form. Update, same kind of information, except we also had a delete feature here, and the update feature, again, if you're going in for the first time, it displays the form. Otherwise, it triggers one of the actions, either update or delete. Now, this is how you add a shortcode. Real quick and simple. It's the add _shortcode method. You give it a name, and then you point it to a function. So in our case, we're going to take the product cat plugin add, which is our little add screen here, and we're going to stick it inside of one of our pages. So I jump over a page. I take my sample page, and it's not product detail, it's add product. And we come in here and we say add product and update. And now if I want to go view, and there's my little add form for adding a product. It's now been injected into my page. This also works for posts as well. So we could do the same thing. We can copy this. We can go up to our post, jump into our quick hello world here, add product, update, preview, and boom. We can now add products from our blog. That's kind of useful. Throws it in there. It's semi-viewable. It's always at the top. It's okay. Not quite what we want. We want to make it look a little bit more pretty and add some other features. So some of the things I wanted to add to my product catalog are going to be to just add a small little icon with an image of my product and the title of the product, and another one to actually give me the full detail of the product. However, before we do that, let's jump over and quickly convert this to use web services. That way it'll be a lot easier and more user-friendly than having to keep looking at this old example we had. So we'll come out here. I've already started creating a new plugin called Product Catalog Plugin _ Web Service. So as you can see in here, he pretty much has the same information minus the database. We don't need to install the database because he's going to talk to a web service. The menu, I just renamed it to WS so that we can differentiate between the two plugins. Our WordPress catalog list, come in here, and we are calling a JSON call here, file get content. It's doing a get request to our web service product all, which if we remember this guy here returns us all of our products. Nice JSON. And we're formatting it to JSON decoder and dropping it into product list, again looping through. Before this was using our tables. So if we go in here, we were looping through our tables. So instead of pulling from the database, we're now pulling from our JSON. So we're looping through that. I've added a little more uniformity to our main plugin page. So I've actually added an update and I've added a delete link straight to the page. So we also have our add, which add is going to do the JSON web service get call. We're going to pass all of our IDs in there, drop the database reference there, and update, same kind of thing. So we're doing our call to JSON to fetch the information and update the content. So I'm also going to add shortcode to the web service, save that guy. So we'll go up here to plugins. We will deactivate our old product catalog and reactivate the new one. So the new product catalog looks a lot cleaner. So now we have our product IDs, our names, and all this is real time coming from our web service catalog. So this is actually connected to our web service, updating a database in the cloud, and we've now separated our pieces. So our WordPress site is just WordPress. All of our data, our product catalog information is stored offsite. So we can delete record, gone. We can edit a record, save, or we can add a new one. Artist coffee mug, 8-ounce coffee mug. And they'll sell for $19.99. And we have 200 in stock. Save. And boom. Oh, my ad did not connect to it. Should have worked. Let's go look at ad again. Invalid protocol on ad. Look at our web service real quick. Add to get. I think I did it as a post. That would be why that didn't work. Insert ID. Oh, yeah, I forgot to add. You have to make sure you URL encode your values before you try to upload. This is quick and dirty. There's cleaner ways of doing this in PHP, but just to keep it simple for the examples, putting everything on their own separate lines. Okay, let's restart web service. And it's up. Coffee mug. Artist mug. Ounce. And 200. There we go. Because I didn't URL encode it, what happened was it took the decimal here and it messed up the URL because dots tend to have other preferences or special characters. So if you want to actually use period or the decimal, you have to URL encode it. All right, so we've got the add working, we've got the delete working, and we've got the edit working. Meant for that to be 20. Save. And it's 20. All right. So now we pretty much have converted our plugin to work with web services instead of the local WordPress database. So now let's start adding some styles to this. But before I do that, let's verify that our Hello World still works. We still have add product and preview changes. Add product is broken. Why is that? Well, if we go back over here, product catalog add does not exist in the new WordPress version. It's now WS. product catalog ad. Save that guy, jump back out here. Now, if I preview change, boom, there's our product catalog, the ability, our add product catalog form. Okay, so now let's add some more meaningful logic to our product catalog. So we're going to come in here and we're going to add a function that will basically give us a snapshot of a product. So I've created a new product catalog plugin underscore view underscore item snapshot. I want to pass some attributes to this guy. So I have a little $@ to act as an attribute that I can pass in so I can capture it. Then I go through and I pull out the values I want. So it's a shortcode attribute, it's an array, and for right now I'm passing ID. But if I wanted to add more, all I would have to do is just keep adding to this. So I could do like height, say 20%, and so forth and so on. So I could keep adding to this array, which means that I could actually pass information in. So the more I pass in, the more I can actually configure the look and feel of my snapshot. But for right now, we're going to leave it simple with just ID. So the ID we're going to take, so this is the old way. If we were using the database, we would come through and we would pull out of the database. So that would be using the WordPress database class, prefix, product, and do our select. Well, we don't necessarily want to do that. We actually want to use the one for the web services. So we will change that to be this guy here. My product. ID. And that will give us our product and give us our product name. And I've already uploaded a product for us. So if I go back over to WordPress and I look at media, so I've already uploaded this TARDIS mug. You can see its size, it's 285 by 285. We're going to manipulate that because that's a little big for our pages. So we'll go back down here to our catalog, make sure everything works. Awesome, it does. So let's go back over to our code. So we're passing in an ID for our product catalog snapshot. In this function, we're going to configure the styles for our page. So I'm basically doing an inline style within our class or within our page. Now, these CSS files could be exported into specific files and you can import them. But again, just for simplicity and presentational purposes, I've embedded them into our actual functions. So we have a style. We're creating a product snapshot, which is going to be for the whole div of our snapshot of our product that we're trying to display. We're going to resize the image to be 80 by 80. And we're also going to set the height and width of our snapshot name for the description that we're going to display. That's all of our styles. So now we have to actually build our view. So we create a div for our product snapshot. And within the div, we're going to create a table. And this is essentially going to be 2 rows, 1 column for us to put the image in the top row and the product name in the second row. But here we've set the style as a class. By doing the dot, if I actually had wanted to change by, say, the table element, I could do table. If I wanted to actually do it by ID, you would do pound and the ID. There's some reasons why you want to avoid using just straight up element manipulations with plugins. The biggest in part is your plugin is going inside an existing WordPress install. You have no control over what the theme will be for that person's WordPress install. So if you actually leave it open to, the theme type of table, to actually manipulate the table element, your style could either A, overwrite the existing styles for the theme and screw up the entire site's look and feel for that person, or B, they already have a table parent CSS style define, which will overwrite yours. So things won't look and feel the way you want it to look and feel. So by doing it this way, by actually setting up as a class or by defining it by element IDs, you're ensuring that your style will apply to your specific plugin, to your specific shortcode. So here I have table, I have a table row, table column, TD, table data. I have an image and I set my image class to resize the image, and I'm pulling in the source from the WordPress location. Then I'm also using the my product from here, from our call, .name. So this right here should display our product name with our image. So we create a new shortcode. So your function goes on the right and your shortcode name goes on the left. And we will do product snapshot. Save. Sure, our plugin still works. Yes. So now we go out to our post and we change this guy to be product snapshot. Date, preview. Well, we have our image, but we have no detail here. Now, our image is hard-coded because we've uploaded that directly to our WordPress media just to shortcut things for now. But we didn't get the actual description for any product. So now if I do ID equals 1 and update, preview, product 1 not out there still, press products, it's not. So we'll do product 26. So let me change it to product 26. Update, preview, and we have a coffee mug. Very small, very unique, very precise display for our short description or a snapshot of our product. But it's useful. We could put that in a multi-layered table. We could put in multiple snapshots, basically define or build a grid for our product catalog. Well, that's all nice, but I want more information. I want to actually see the full information. So if I click on that, I want to bring up a page that gives me all of the product detail. So that leads me to my second one here. Code. Come over here. So we now have our product catalog plugin view item full details. So we have our ID. Again, I'm pulling in from the database. That was the old example. So we want the new example. It's that guy. And this one, I want to make it a little more unique. So now I have a product full. So my dimensions are now going to be 500 by 500. Setting the float so it doesn't get overwrapped by the text. Setting the padding to 25 to give me some room between my detail and any existing text or images on the page or post. Product full split. I'm splitting the top part of my display to have the image on the left, the general product information on the right, and then the full description will go underneath in the second half of the display. So we have product full wide, which will be the height of 250, which is the second half of the grid, and the full width of 500. So we have our div class, product full, table, table row 1. It's going to be our split. So our first table is going to be 2 columns. So we have our first column here. So we got 888. That's our image. And then we have our split again to make it 250 by 250. And here we have our product details. So here we have the name, summary, and price. And then here we have the TD, we have the class wide, and we put the description in here. We also want to do column span 2. And save. And this guy is full. And then if I come over here and do product detail, date, preview, and there's our information. So we have an 8-ounce mug, coffee mug, TARDIS, and the price. So that's on the post, but you can also do this to pages. So I can come out here to pages and product detail, ID equals 1, update, preview, didn't like something. Oh, that's right, product detail 9. There we go. Check cotton. Apparently I had shift when I hit 1. Doctor Who. So as you can see, you can jump back and forth. So here's the cool part though. So what if I wanted to create a shortcode with the summary? So go back over here. I want the product snapshot. ID equals 1. But I can wrap it. So what you can do here is you can wrap it inside of some other text, and you can now turn it into a link. So now when I actually preview it, I can click on it and it would take me somewhere. All right, there's Doctor Who, t-shirt good. And then text. Just go to Google. It's not working right now, but you kind of get the idea. So you can actually go in and manipulate this. The other cool part though is within the snapshot ID. So instead of trying to wrap the link around it, you could do the link inside the snapshot. So the snapshot here could take you to an ID page in and of itself. So you could actually add a link . And then you could click the view product and go to the product page. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. So we've looked at the following. So we've looked at using shortcodes to insert products into pages and posts. We've looked at how we can then inject HTML and CSS changes to change the look and feel of our products. And we point to our plugin to use web services instead of using the local WordPress database. Now, in future discussions, we're going to take everything we've built and conclude the product catalog presentation with reporting. So we're going to finish out the style and look and feel of all our components. So we will have everything compartmentalized. The MVC will be a standalone MVC view only tied to the web services. We have the web services piece. We have a standalone database piece. And we'll have WordPress with our product catalog plugin within there that we can then use to formulate and put information into our WordPress page. Now, the other thing with reporting that we'll discuss is not only the reporting piece of it, how to pull the queries out of the database, but also building a kind of reporting tool for us to quickly look at information that we want to see on a common basis. So within the WordPress site, we'll also expand our plugin to include some reporting screens where we can then go in and query information, as well as from our MVC application, being able to go in and look at viewing reporting or doing reporting straight from the MVC side. And we'll also be looking at the SQL side, where we'll be building our selects and how to actually query our data within our database. Thank you all for attending. If you have any questions, comments, or requests for assistance, please shoot us an email at info@developernerd.com, drop us a line on this post, or contact us on the site. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.